Today is a special day as we get ready to go and walk through the steps that our ancestors took when they were forcibly taken, and now we return triumphant. So we want to focus ourselves and prepare ourselves for what we'll see, feel, hear, smell on this day of remembrance.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, and blessings and honor in the name of Her Imperial Majesty Empress Menen. This is the Dejazmatch Kwasi, of course. This is the Lion's Voice. Just thankful to be able to finally get out episode 3 of the Lion Voice that chronicles the visit I made to the dungeon, slave dungeon. It was, one of the very powerful moments of my life in that I was able to take my entire family and be there with my entire family, including my children. I'd been to the dungeon at least probably 3 times before this particular outing. But again, it was powerful because I was able to go with my family. I went, my wife has been before as well, but being there as a whole family, having my children see and process the dungeon was very powerful. So, the images you see in this episode reflect that journey. This was actually the first time that I went to the dungeon barefoot. So that was a very unique part of this journey. HABESHA family made the decision, our executive director, Nyahbinghi Sean, was leading our delegation, and our ancestors went through barefoot to the dungeon, so we went barefoot. And you'll see from some of the footage, you'll see that everybody on our delegation was barefoot, and it's an experience because the little discomfort that you feel for those moments being barefoot, and it's probably not the most hygienic place given the history, but you can imagine it's been sanitized, whitewashed, as my brethren said. So you can imagine the people from that time who had to endure. We're just going through a little small discomfort on a tour barefoot, but our ancestors had to endure that fully barefoot. So and without proper clothing, without proper hygiene, so many atrocities. So that was an experience, going through barefoot for the first time, and even seeing the reactions of some of the other groups that were touring. There were European tourists, other tourists, and they were kind of staring at us. We got a lot of side glances. Why are we in here barefoot? So for some people, it's just a tourist attraction in terms of seeing a historical landmark. For others, it's really a spiritual journey. It's a return. We had people in our delegation that shed tears, especially at One Africa after. It was a very powerful. We were cleansing after, and it's heavy because we all carry this genetic memory. So being in those spaces, it takes a lot out of you. And, I know Nyahbinghi Sean testified to the group. It took a lot out of him to lead, that journey. Sister Imakus, our elder from One Africa, typically was the one who would take us through the journey. She's now residing in Rwanda, so that was impossible but it was a powerful journey and interaction. I'm glad to be able to bring you episode 3. Give thanks for the patience. We've been just working out a lot of other things. I have the Haile Selassie's Ethiopia book that is just coming out. It just got my first shipment, so we're working on getting the pre-orders out. We're building the Haile Bonsu Unlimited brand, which is going to be the umbrella multimedia company that Lion's Voice and all of the other projects that I'm working on will fall under that umbrella. I have so much things planned for the new year. A bag of new music coming. I'm working with one of my old producers. Excited about that project. We're going to be doing more frequent legal segments. You know, I'm watching the Manosphere. I'm watching different YouTubers, and I made a decision. I'm gonna dress as an attorney when I do my attorney content. Why not? Just to show a different look. This channel is primarily for young brethren in the conscious community. Rastafari is my community, so I definitely want to show different phases and different looks that, you know, we can inhabit as brethren. And, you know, you dress the part. His Majesty showed us that example, so it's just continuing that tradition as Rastafari, and being prepared to face what's coming. But yeah, we're going to be doing some entertainment law content. You know, I'm offering consultations on entertainment law related issues, so that's a lot planned for the new year. So I want to just thank everyone for their patience. And yeah, the Slave Dungeon, the Cape Coast Slave Dungeon episode, I'm hoping that you all enjoy the episode. I'm hoping that you take it in. We'll have some additional content, a lot of Ghana content in the new year. You know, we're fully loaded with Ghana content. We're going to be sharing that experience. I am in the process of repatriation with my family currently, so we'll share some of that as well as we progress, you know, the land purchase process, all of those great things. So make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and come on the journey. Why should you come on the journey, you ask? Because it's time for the lion to tell its own story, and this is the lion's voice.
As you can see, we're right by the coast now. This particular water is not the frolicking water. It's a very angry water. These are the shores right here that our ancestors were taken from.
Okay.
So as you can see, this is not a calm sea.
Ago.
Amen.
When I say Yabeshiya key kakra, I just mean we are coming to learn some small key. Just little. So we'll start with welcome. Akwaba.
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 You are all welcome. Mimamu Akwaba. I give you welcome, or I welcome you. Mimamu Akwaba. Then you can respond, yo.
Madasi.
Yeah, go ahead. Unfortunately, some people call it a castle, but it wasn't a castle for us. It was a dungeon. And the crimes against humanity were committed. Over the years, through some nefarious intentions of some people, the space has been whitewashed, both literally and figuratively. We know that when our ancestors were taken from the shores here in Ghana, we didn't come through an entrance, we didn't have a fee, but we came through the door of no return. Additionally, our ancestors didn't have the Air Force Ones, the retros, vans, felines, or even fugu. They came barefoot. So we're asking everyone to, let's walk literally in the path of our ancestors. Take off our shoes before we go any further. We stand on holy ground. This is one of our main reasons and purposes why we're here. We're gonna have fun, we're gonna shop till we drop, we're gonna eat all the great food, but this healing work right here is some of the most critical, especially to our young people. Generational. So even as we go and see these horrors, know that, as we were talking earlier, we are the ones who survived. We are our ancestors. We are our ancestors. Ashe?
I'm going to narrate to you whatever happened in these dungeons some centuries ago. So this building, or this structure, dates back to the 17th century. It was built in 1665. You see, the English built it, but the Africans built it. It took them more than 100 years of rebuilding, demolition and addition before they came out with something like this. And today this structure is more than 350 years plus. And again, it happened that the Europeans fought among themselves for this piece of land. So this piece of land, which this castle stands on today, changed hands about 5 times among the Europeans. The Portuguese were the first to occupy, and let's say the Portuguese were the first Europeans to explore the coast of West Africa. They got to Elmina around 1471, and some years later they constructed Elmina Castle, the first European structure in sub-Saharan Africa. 1555, the same Portuguese occupied this area and named it Cabo Corso. Cabo Corso is Portuguese. English, you can say Short Cape. And later the British corrupted it to Cape Coast. So that is a European version of the European name for this town. It has its own native name. We call this area Ugwa or Pitfour.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
So, brothers and sisters, this place used to be the female dungeons. And we had 2 rooms, this room and the other room down. In total, it fitted between 100 to about 200 women here. Fitting about 200 here meant that the temperature within this space would change. They were here naked. Think of this, when they have their menstrual period. You know, today, you wash yourself very well, you use sanitary pads. But it wasn't that in those days. You had that on feces, urine, blood, saliva. You could imagine those who got infected with diseases and died. And don't forget those who were sexually assaulted, those who were raped by the Europeans who lived here. It is estimated that about 1/3 of the entire population in these dungeons did not survive. When they died, the remains were thrown into the sea. So, brothers and sisters, this room here was a cell for women who resisted or revolted. What I want you to understand is this. Many of the people the Europeans captured into slavery, many of them were kings and queens in their various tribes or kingdoms. And many would not sit down and watch. They fought back. They resisted. So I normally say the Asatwa kind of women, they had a Taman kind of women, the rest of us. Queen Nani, Queen Zenga, type of women were here. Have you ever heard of Asatwa? Yeah. So I'll take this opportunity and tell you what she did. So Asatwa was an Ashanti. She was one of the queens within the Ashanti areas. The Ashantis had an empire. Actually, the Ashantis had the biggest empire in Ghana. To some point, the British wanted to rule. They realized that the Ashantis were ruling because the Ashantis controlled more than 50% of present Ghana. The British did everything in their power to subdue the Ashantis. All they failed to do because the Ashantis were beating them in battles. As they always say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. As a result of the dominance of the Ashantis, they also made enemies with some other tribes. And this is what the British did. And this is what they always do. They use the enemies of the Ashantis to get to them. So as a matter of fact, they used us to get to the Ashantis. 1874, the Ashantis were defeated. And after the defeat, you can imagine what the British did to them. The British looted the Ashantis of their gold, exiled most of their kings, and all that. To some extent, around the 1900s, the British demanded the golden stool of the Ashantis. So the golden stool of the Ashantis is the symbol of strength among the Ashanti people. And even the king doesn't sit on that stool. The white man wanted it. But it seems all the men in the Ashantis were scared to fight another battle. So a woman owned up and said, if the men are not fighting, I am going to lead the Ashanti army to fight. She did that when she was 60 years plus. As a result of her effort, the British never got hold of the golden stool. She was later captured and sent into exile. The Asantwa died in exile, Seychelles Island.
We've always resisted, whether it's here on the continent, whether it's on the shores of the Americas, the Caribbean, we've always resisted. We've always chosen life. We've always chosen freedom as a people. We have to change that narrative. You all are now here to see for yourselves, here for yourselves, and to return and share and build, be inspired by, motivated, and be accountable for your actions moving forward.